Howdy boys and girls. Today we are going to be doing the lesson Create a Map. It is a culmination of all the work we've been doing over the last few days, learning all the map tools, learning how to read maps, learning about things like compass rose, map grids, map scale, legends and symbols. We talked about landforms and the types of water on our continent. We talked about the physical features of our continent. So today we're going to put it all together and do a Create a Map. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and quickly go over the rubric for you so that you know exactly what we're looking for in my Create a Map. So I'm going to be giving everybody the 11 by 11 or 12 by 12 piece of paper, and you are going to create your own version of your made-up map. Okay, so the directions: using a 12 by 12 piece of paper, make a physical map of your own state. The state can be any shape you choose. Use the guidelines, questions, and rubric as you complete the map of your state. Now, if I look at my requirements here, I'll zoom in on the requirements. My requirements are quite a bit. You must have a state title. Your state must have a name. As a physical map. So the physical map of La La Land, for example. You must have a compass rose. You must have a compass rose with cardinal and intermediate points, which means northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast, and so on. Your map must be map grid with at least 5 by 5 sections, and I will demonstrate the best way to do that. You also need a map scale given the distance per inch, and I'll demonstrate that. You need a legend and a key or key with at least 5 different symbols on your map. You need landforms and at least 3 landforms. Okay, so all the landforms we've talked about: capes, peninsulas, mountains, plateaus, great plains, any of those landforms we talked about. And you need at least 3 different types of bodies of water. That could be a bay, gulf, sea, ocean, river, any of those. Okay? So I'm just going to go through it step by step, and in class we broke it down, by day. And so I'm going to just go through the steps of how I'm going to show the kids to do it in class. So we're going to start with a single sheet of paper. I'll be giving each student an 11 by 11 square. And the first thing that we always do is I tell them or show them how to make a grid. So the first thing you do is you take your ruler, and you're going to line your ruler up on the edge of your paper like so. Take your pencil and trace the line. And then you'll keep doing that until you get all the way at the end of your paper. So I'll do that really quickly. And you should have, 8 or 9, maybe even more than that, 10 lines when you're completely done. Remember, we want to create that grid system where we have letters and numbers. And I'll keep going, try to get them all done. Probably should have prepped this and had it ready and done before I made the video. That's okay. Sometimes students leave the very bottom. They don't grid all the way to the bottom. They leave space for map key. And so that's a good idea. I get about to the bottom and I leave that last little bit open so I can put my map legend down there. And then I'll do the exact same thing across the top or the other side to give myself that vertical and horizontal grid. Remember, don't go all the way to the bottom because you want to leave that available for maybe your scale or your legend or key to keep that space blank. And you can, if you want, you feel free to pause your video while you create your legend or create your map grids. Save yourself some time. I'm about done here. And I like to use as much of the paper as I can for my made-up state, only because I want to make sure that the words that I write, the names of the things that I have on my map, I can read them, or whoever's reading my map can read them, especially for your teacher when they grade it. It'll be really nice. Okay, so there's my grid. I have my grid set up. So we're going to go ahead and start numbering them across the top. I'll do mine vertically: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then I over here, and then 1 down the side. We can put our numbers: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Now that I have my grid, I need to start thinking about the shape of my made-up state. Now, as I'm thinking about the shape of my made-up state, I need to think about the bodies of water and landforms. And I know that some of the landforms we had were like capes and peninsulas. We had gulfs, we had bays, islands. So I'm going to go ahead and take that consideration when I draw my shape. And I'm in just a random shape. So it might be perfectly square across the top. Maybe there's a GPS border, and then one border may have like a river, and then I have a big loop that could be my gulf, and I come on down, and then maybe I have a really nice long peninsula, and then it comes, my shape is going to go down, and then maybe I have another inlet, could be a bay, right, and then I am done. So there's my shape of my state. Now simple, nothing too complicated. And I'm going to go ahead and out here, I'm going to go ahead and add an island, because I would love to have an island in my made up state. So now I need to start going through my requirements. So my first requirement says state title as a physical map. So I know that my title is going to be my physical map of Herringland. That could be the name of my state. Herringland would be the name of my state. Okay? My second requirement is a compass rose with cardinals and intermediate directions or points. So I will put mine at the bottom of my map. I left this blank space down here. So I'll go ahead and draw my compass rose. And I'm going to put all 8 directions: northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. Those are my compass rose. I also need a map grid, so we have the map grid done. My next criteria would be a map scale. So this is what I tell my students, and hopefully it helps you. An inch, I'll take the bottom of my map and I will draw an inch mark. An inch. And then I'll put my endpoints on there. On the bottom it'll say 1 inch. And I'm going to make every inch worth 100 miles, because this is a large area with a small scale. So I'm going to zoom in for you to see my scale is 1 inch, 0 to 100 miles. So 1 inch is 100 miles. Here's my compass rose. I put all of the directions on there. Next, I need a legend with at least 5 symbols. I need 3 landforms and 3 bodies of water, 3 cities, and one of them must be a capital. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on my 3 landforms, right? So the first landform, which is quite easy, that we learned about in class with the bodies of water and landforms, were mountains. So I will put a very large mountain range on the western side of my state. Okay? And I will call these the Catlin Mountains. Okay? Another landform. I'm going to use this right here, this peninsula. This little peninsula here, we're going to call it Levi Peninsula. All right? I need one more landform. So out here, this will be the Great Dian Plains. Now, obviously, you can see that I'm not being very creative. I'm just using names of my family members. You can be as creative as you want. So there are my three landforms. I'm keeping it simple. I could have used any of the landforms we talked about, but I'll keep it simple with these landforms. The next is I need 3 bodies of water. Well, I also have, I forgot, I have an island out here. So over here, this will be Maddie Island. Okay? Not creative, I know. This body of water, obviously this is a body of water. This will be Megan C. Down here, this will be Frank Bay. And I'm going to go ahead and put a river coming from the mountains. We learned that a river has a source from the mountains and it leads into this bay over here. And then I have a little bit of a delta because it's a very powerful river. So there's my delta. I'm going to name this, I'll be a little creative, Rodent River. So now I have all 3 of my bodies of water. I have a bay, a river, and a sea. Next, that's my landform. Now I need some cities. So now I'm going to do a little mixture of my other favorite things. So there's one of my cities. We're going to call it Strikeoutville. Okay. Second city down here to the south. We'll call this Ball Town. And then the capital of my state of Herringland, I put a star there for my capital. And the capital is going to be Olson. That's the name of my favorite ballpark. Olson. That's the name of the city. Olson is the capital. So I'm going through my criteria. I have a map scale. I have a landforms. I have my bodies of water. I have my cities. I have my capital. So the last thing I need is a legend. Okay? So obviously, a dot represents a city. The star represents the capital, and that line represents a river. Now I have to have, according to my my rubric, I need 5 symbols. So I'll add this shape, which are mountains. Okay, and I need to think at least, I need one more symbol on my physical map. So if I think about, and I don't want to stifle your creativity, so if I think about all the things we learned about, I could add so many more. I'm going to add one that we really didn't talk a lot about, but I think it's important. This delta right here, this delta, I'm going to add that symbol, which looks like a W, but it's really just a V. It's like a triangle. Okay? I'm going to name that delta. Now, I understand this is really a fast and quick crash course, and I went through it really quickly. You can always pause it and rewind it and go back and listen to some more. The most important thing to remember, boys and girls, is to just stick to your rubric. Okay? Stick to the rubric and make sure you have everything on your rubric. Follow these directions. Make sure you meet all of the requirements. The state title, the physical map, a compass rose with all the directions, your map grid with at least a 5x5 section, a map scale, a legend and a key with at least 5 symbols. You need 3 landforms, 3 bodies of water. You need 3 cities, and one of those cities must be your capital. If you have all of this done, and then be sure to color your map, make sure it's completely colored, so that when you are done, your map looks just like the maps that we practice with in class. Okay? And of course, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to your teachers, and they will give you all the help that you need, I'm sure. So have fun. Please be creative. Have some fun with this. Make silly names. Just really enjoy the opportunity to be creative and have fun. Okay? So until next time, hope you all have a good time. See you then. Bye, guys.